Now then, I did a couple of things in the last episode which raised some eyebrows. I mean, cutting through the headstock by accident raised quite a few eyebrows, but the fact I glued in aluminium caused some folks some concern. And if it causes folk concern, it causes me concern. Well, I've just been thrown into a power cut. So I might have problems with my guitar, but somebody somewhere has got big problems with the power. I suspect the crows have been pecking at the wires again. Okay, so I'm going to come back to this when I've got power. See you in a bit. Let's get going. Hello there and welcome to episode 9 of my bass guitar rebuild. Now then, it's a few days after the power cut. Unfortunately, I got waylaid on other jobs. But just to go back to where I was. Now, as I said, some folks have raised concerns about what I'm doing with this guitar. The fact that I've put some aluminium in there and that I've glued it in with some wood glue. Now then, I rather like the aluminium, I'll be honest with you, but slightly worried about the way I've gone about this, so I'm not going to rush anything. And what I thought I'd do is, over the next couple of episodes, try a little experiment. Let me explain. You see, I'd quite like to add a little bit more aluminium into this project. But before I do that, I want to make sure that it's going to hold. I mean, I know there's two issues with aluminium. One is a soft metal, so I appreciate if you're putting a lot of pressure on it, it may give. But the other aspect of this is the glue. What do I glue it down with? So what I want to do is try a little practical experiment as a bit of fun, to be honest with you. I've glued 3 pieces of aluminium to this piece of plywood. I've used PVA, the Gorilla Wood glue that I was using, and my mystery glue there. Now, my cunning plan is to take this piece of plywood and stick it on top of these pieces of aluminium using some 2-part epoxy. And what I'll do then is leave that for a week to cure, so it's really solid. Then I will prise these two apart some way and we'll just see which one comes off and on which side. Okay, I know it's not scientific, but hey, maybe a bit of fun. But in the meantime, I've got some other jobs to do and they involve the body. So I'm going to move all of this out of the way. Now then, this olive has settled over the last, 8 weeks perhaps, yeah, about 8 weeks. So I'm pretty happy that any movement that was going to occur with that has moved. I also glued this into the middle of the body last episode, and so I'm going to trim that down flush. So I think the first thing I'll do is get these edges nice and flush and glue these together. Now this video might be a little bit low key this week because I've noticed that when I wear a dark jacket my head burns out. Obviously it's the grey hairs, so I've stopped the camera down a third of a stop just to see if it looks better. Anyway, let's see if I can get this nice and flush. It looks pretty good already, to be honest with you. Now then, this is olive. Be careful with olive because it's an irritant. this edge has got some teeth marks on it from the bandsaw, so I'm going to need to smooth those off first. Whew, that might have been easier to do with a plane. Took a little while to get all that off. Okay, let's have a look at these two pieces. Oh, I think that looks pretty good. I don't think I'm going to get any better than that. Okay, see if we can clamp it together. I'm going to use my guitar body jig to do this. Here we are. I'm hoping it's going to be wide enough. I think it should be. The advantage of this fixture is that I can adjust the angle, so it's quite handy for doing things like this. I'm going to try and line that up there at the top, just try and get the pattern sort of matching if I can. It's not exactly a book matched top, but it's near enough. So that needs to angle in there. Needs to angle in there. Get that loose. Okay, that should do it. The rest of it will be done on the bolts. Right, I'll get some tissue paper to put underneath first of all. Just stops me gluing it to the base of the unit there. Okay. Now I'll be honest, when it comes to glues, I've normally gone for just basic PVA wood glue. So I'm using Gorilla wood glue, and this is the first time I've used this, and it's been pretty good. But I have to say, to be honest with you, the PVA wood glue, the sort of bog standard, fairly cheap stuff, well, it bonds just as well in my opinion, but hey, that's my opinion. Okay, right, that looks pretty good. I'm just going to paste some glue on there. One thing I do like about this Gorilla Glue is the lid, if I can get it open, because it does keep the top clean. Just get the excess off the back side of there. Okay, here we go. Line that up. I need to hold that down. Okay, so as well as a tin full of bolts, I've got 20 kilograms of weights on this as well. So I think that's going to hold that flat, and this is really tight in. Nothing I can do now except wait for that to cure. Okay, so while that's curing, let me glue this wood on top of these aluminium test strips using some of this 2-part epoxy. Part A, let's put some of that down. When I was at school many years ago, we had a thing called Young Enterprises, and it involved getting together with a group of classmates after school with a local business and making products to sell. And we decided, well, we linked up with a local metalwork company who produced lots of swarf, and we decided we would make art out of swarf and well, sticking them together with epoxy. And the guys from the factory turned up with huge tubs of epoxy, which we then sort of mixed and glued swarf to bits of wood and sold to our relatives. Those were the days, eh? We never made any money. Right, perhaps that's where it all went wrong. Here we go. Right, so there's a generous covering of epoxy on that. Whenever I've stuck aluminium to wood in the past, I've always used epoxy, and well, that's always done the trick. So here we go. Press that down, and so get one of my veneer clamps. Now then, these are really useful if you want to clamp something together without the things moving, but of course, looking at this, I can see that the gap isn't going to be big enough for this particular job, so there's something to learn. Don't cut your bolts too short. Plan B. Use that just to hold it. And use these to really grip it tight. Okay, I'm going to put that to one side and leave that for a few days. Okay, we'll leave that to set. Now, this is a bit of a teaser, but the mystery glue I've used on the aluminium, I've also stuck these two pieces of wood together with. And so in the next episode, when I try and break the plywood off, I'm also going to try and break these two apart. Wonder if you can guess what the glue is. Hello there. Well, it's a couple of days since I glued this top. I've been burning the midnight oil, having a bit of fun with the Spitfire audio challenge to compose a bit of music to some film, and I do like having a go at those things. I'm not particularly good at this sort of stuff, but the amateur composer in me likes to have a go. Anyway, back to guitar building, and let's see what we've got here. Actually, it's easier just to unscrew those. Pull that back. Okay. Fair enough. Well, that looks nice. Excellent. Okay, so I'm going to put this to one side for a moment and tackle the body. Now I need to trim this insert down to size. just clamp it down. That's that done. Okay, now I think I'm going to plane the body down, and to do that I'm going to put it into this fixture. And clamp it into there, and I think that will make my life a little bit easier. Get this adjusted. Okay, that's nice and firm. Ooh, one thing I have to be careful of is this wing nut here, so I'm just going to take that off. It would bugger the plane. Okay, I think I'll need to do the rest on the sander with a orbital sander. So I'll just take this off here. That's reasonably good. Need to tidy up the front there a bit as well. Actually, I think I'll just shave a bit off while I'm here. Okay, over to the sanding table. Okay, I've sanded that down. But I've got another problem which I need to resolve, and that is if I put my level across there, or straight edge across there, I can see that the middle dips in a bit. So I'm going to have to take some off the tops here on the edges, which it's going to be a little bit interesting. I think I'm going to do that with plain. Just need to work out how I'm going to fix it down to do that. Now then, I think this might work if I prop the guitar up a bit so that the top edge is standing proud of these side panels. So let me just put those in there, adjust those. Found a couple of pieces of wood here, an old chopping board. Now then, yeah, I think this may work. Let's give it a go. So if I put that round that way, yeah. Okay, just got to be careful I don't run the plane over these wing nuts. Right, okay, I think that board is too deep, so I think I need something a little bit thinner. Some offcuts of plywood here. They may do the job. That looks better. I don't think that's going to move. Okay. Now then, so it's just on these edges I need to remove some material. So I'm going to do it really gently. Well, I've got a little bit of a dip there, but not as much as I had before, and I think that can be removed when I actually shape the top. That's okay at the front there. It's okay that way, that way, that way. So, I'm bleeding now. Okay, I think that's probably enough for that. Yeah, well, that was quite a bit more material than I thought I'd have to take off, to be honest with you. I'll just sand the top again just to get rid of any of the planing marks, and then think about gluing the top on. Okay, so I just need to level off these a little bit. This one's slightly higher than that one, so I'm just going to take a bit off. Phew, well that was a bit of an afternoon's work, but unfortunately this is not one of those videos where it's all going to come good at the end. Certainly not for this week, because I've still got a bit of an issue. Got a bit of an issue here where the top of this guitar is not flat enough for this piece of olive, and I've got to get it better. So what I think I'm going to do is glue some 60 grit strips of paper to this piece of board and rub the guitar back and forth to try and level it a little bit more. But I'm not going to have time to do that this week. So I'm going to call it a day. Now then, have you been getting your bass guitars out and your broken lead guitars and fixing them? If you have, please let me know how you're getting on in the comments. I'd love to hear about it. In the meantime, stay safe and I'll see you soon.